Namaste and hello. So this video, I thought that I would share with you my process for dealing with disappointment and fairly intense disappointment. I'm not exactly sure disappointment is the word that I really want to use, but I do know that disappointment is a good portion of it. So my name is Yogi Kai, if you haven't visited my channel or seen one of my videos yet, but the term yogi means both teacher and student, and I feel myself to be more of a student than a teacher, even though I am trained as a teacher. I'm presently ill. As a matter of fact, let me lose this so I can actually see the camera. I'm presently pretty ill, and I have spent my life seeking experience more than seeking finances. I've not walked the path of the American dream of the house and the white picket fence and, 2 kids and the 1.3 dogs or whatever it is. I've always lived on the outside of society, well, most of the time. And I'm a nomad. I live in an RV presently, but for many years I lived on a motorcycle hauling a camper, and for quite some time I didn't even have the camper. I've made my living off of the donations of others through the use of balloons and street performing and things of that nature, although I have worked normal jobs and gotten paid paychecks and things like that. But for the last paycheck job I had was in 2005, where I taught dance. Well, that was the end of it, I think. And that was where I taught dance for a studio in Bellingham, Washington. I twist balloon animals. I think I just mentioned that. And I do magic and mime and pretty much all forms of many forms of entertainment. Definitely not all forms, not by any stretch of the imagination. But today I'm in Lake Havasu City, Arizona, staying in a campground, my RV. And I have been looking forward to a festival that's going on starting today. And it's going to go on for this weekend. So it's a 4-day festival. I've worked it for many years. You may have seen, if you go to my Facebook page, Yogi Kai, you can see where I posted about a picture taken from this particular festival 10 years ago. And I've worked it even before then. And it's a festival that generally pays quite well, and I usually anywhere between $900 and $1,500 for the 4-day weekend. And I've always looked forward to this festival because they treat me very kindly, very respectfully. I've never had any problems there. It's always been a beautiful experience. Sadly, they get rained out almost every year, one day, sometimes two. This year, they're expecting rain on 2 of the days. And sadly, 2 of the most busy days. So the reality of the situation is if I was feeling well, I would have been already twisting balloons at this festival this morning. Because I only have 2 full days where I would be able to ply my trade, and then possibly a third. The 4th day, I don't think I would be able to. The chance of rain is too strong, and they're usually fairly good with their forecasts here, a couple of days out. So I came down from Las Vegas to work this festival, and money typically hasn't been a close friend of mine. Um, my bank account is usually $100 or less, or somewhere thereabouts. I don't worry about anybody scamming me. What are they going to take? And but the purpose for this, the goal of this particular festival, the reason why I wanted to work it was to get these teeth fixed down in Mexico. I've been wandering around with my teeth like this for some time. And although it doesn't bother me all that much, it does hinder some of the activities I would like to do. And so I was looking forward to having my full smile again. Additionally, I was hoping that there would be enough money left over to tide me over for a few weeks afterwards, because my daughter would like to fly me up to Pennsylvania to visit her and my grandkids while her husband is away. And so that money was going to tide me over while I was visiting them. And now it seems like that's probably not going to happen. I have to wait till spring so that when I go up there, I can actually get out and in the public and twist balloons while I'm there. So this is a disappointment, and I wanted to share with you how I'm dealing with it. And if I have to break the video, this illness is keeping me tied to the throne of mankind pretty closely. TMI, I know. As they say, deal with it. Well, first off, if I have to go through this kind of stuff, I'm going to do it so that no one else has to do it. This is my own personal world. This is how I deal with things in my world. And my world is different than your world and different than anybody else's world. We may share a social world, you and I, personally. We may share a common world, everybody and me. The mountains are a common world. How we see the mountains is a personal world, and how we discuss the mountains is a social world. And but long ago, I decided that I didn't want to die not knowing everything there is to know about me. And so I investigate. Whenever I get sick, I investigate, what does it feel like to be in a sick body? I have a lot of pressure in my head right now, and it's all throughout here. My eyes are burning like crazy, but my neck isn't hurting. As I investigate, I can't find any places in my neck that's really hurting. I have a little bit of soreness in the back of the neck, but I think that's primarily because of muscular tension, not because of the illness. My face, my chin isn't hurting. And I'll go throughout my whole body this way, and I'll just investigate, what parts of my body are hurting. How's it feeling? Are there areas where it feels good and areas where it doesn't? Am I sick all over my body, or am I just sick in certain places? And what does the word sick mean to me? I investigate that. I go inside and I see, what does it, I try to find the edges of the illness. Like, I have a lot of discomfort in my belly, and it's mostly in the lower belly. I'm afraid to eat. I was actually starting to get a little worried about how much weight I was getting. I was developing a little bit more of a belly than I appreciate. And 4 days of sitting on the pot or maybe I should say sitting on the throne, has resulted in a lot of that extra weight going away. Excuse me a second while I wipe the camera. Speaking of being on the toilet and wiping. Anyway, like I say, deal with it. So I investigate all these different parts of my body and to see what it feels like being sick. And because of my meditation practices and the practices that I undertook while I was feeling good and while I was very much aware and awake and, like I say, feeling good. I was on top of the world more or less. And I practice for these times when I know that I'll be sick again in the future. So that way, when I do have to deal with this stuff, the tools that I have available, I know how to use them. So I don't get too lost. I may get a little lost while I'm looking for the right tool because I have a whole toolbox. But when I find the tool, it usually works. And I don't worry about this going away or not because it will. I'll survive all this stuff, or I won't. It doesn't matter too much, except for some people that love me. But beyond that, I'm perfectly secure with whatever comes after this body dissipates, and I leave it. And anyway, so that's how I'm dealing with the illness itself. The way that I'm dealing with the disappointment. Well, first off, I recognize that I had an attachment to the thought that the festival was going to get me some new teeth, and that from the use of the new teeth, or from the value of the new teeth, I know that in society, especially American society, Western society, people that have teeth like this are sometimes looked down upon. They're not taken as seriously. People that don't have a lot of money are usually looked down on. It's like we don't value the important aspects of who a person is. We value what they can buy and what they can do for us. And so if a person looks GQ, top of the world, I'm very successful, I have all kinds of money, and you got to listen to me because look at me, I'm rich, that kind of deal. That's a big thing in America, by the way. And I can't speak for other cultures because I'm not familiar with other cultures. But it is a big thing here in this culture. And so I had some attachment to the thoughts that perhaps my success would be greater once my teeth are fixed and I have a good smile. I know I have a good smile, but having a full smile rather than looking like a bunny, which actually in my profession, looking like a bunny comes in handy because, I work with children all the time. I'm Bunny Man. One of my closest friends, Alexa Ray, calls me Bunny Man all the time, and she started calling me that even before I lost the teeth because I'm typically a very gentle person. Anyway, so that attachment is something that I didn't notice at the time, really. I suspected I might have some attachment to it but it wasn't strong enough for me to actually work with. So anyway, because of the attachment, because of I had this thought that I believed might be true about the future and what would come from this festival and how I would be able to play with the children as I twisted balloons, and I would be able to dispense lovely bits of wisdom here and there. My thought seeds. I have a great time doing that kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun. And I haven't done it since the beginning of COVID. That was like the last big festival that I worked. And I am very much looking forward to getting back into that, developing that, to have those interactions with the children and the families are just, it's heaven to me. It's phenomenal. And so I was really interested in this particular show because I know it. It's always been beautiful. And when I say I know it, now this is the thing. I want you to pay attention to this. I just did it to myself again. I know this festival. No, I don't. This is the first time I've been to it in 5 years. Who the hell knows what it's going to be like, right? I have no clue. It could have changed completely. I do know that when I picked up the band so that I could get into the festival for free, I was treated with great respect, and they were very happy to hear that I was coming. But I don't know what the festival is going to be like. I have a history of probably 10 of these festivals that I've done. This particular one's called the Balloon Fest. They send up hot air balloons. And I've worked it 10, 12 times in the past. And each time it's been somewhat similar. So I have this imagination that it's going to be like that again this time. And so I have to recognize, one, that it was an imagination of mine. I don't know this festival. I know my memories of a festival that I've worked here that have all been beautiful. So I have to recognize that if I want to deal with the disappointment, because I actually want to find out, what is it that's causing the disappointment? What is it that's causing this very unhappy feeling of I'm missing out? Well, desperation, kind of, sort of, that's too strong of a word, but much too strong of a word. But at this moment, I can't think of what the other words would be. My financial situation is such that things are getting challenging. And I really need to work. And I give away most of my time. I just do things for people, and sometimes they give me something, sometimes they don't. The way that I work and live in my own life, the way that I think about things, is that nobody pays me for what I do for them. What they do is they pay me so that I can do something for someone else. So that way I can freely do things for other people, and I don't have to worry about getting paid. Somebody previous has already paid me, and I'm just working off the debt. And in this way, it does many things. It helps with compassion. It helps with if someone knows that they're not paying me for what they got from me, then they're being generous, they're being altruistic in helping me to do it for someone else. They can take pride in the fact, or take joy in the fact, that they helped someone else receive joy or receive help in some form. And I don't know if that makes sense to you, but it does to me. So it's my world. I'll do what I want. So anyway, so just like I did with the illness, examining different parts of my body, and I'll probably, well, as long as I'm feeling ill, I'll be doing this, quite a bit during my conscious awareness. While I'm awake, I'll be investigating what it feels like to be in an ill body. But I'm also going to do that with the disappointment. I'm going to investigate it. And so I know that I know that it is what the cause is. And the cause is the attachment to the thought. And as the time rolls on throughout the day, and I recognize that this is a habitual understanding too. By the way, I've worked thousands of festivals. I've been doing this for 48 years or 47 years or some jazz like that. And so I've always been on the lookout for festivals, and if I miss a big one, oh, it hurts. It really hurts because sometimes when you don't have much money, when you don't have that cushion, and many of you know what I'm talking about, if you don't have the cushion to support you during your sick days, um, then, well, this is the reason why waitresses and waiters go to work while they're sick. They're hoping that they can stand back far enough that you don't get sick, but they need the money. They got bills to pay and stuff like that. Well, with me, unfortunately, in my profession, um, there is a much greater toll. I am close to my clients, and my clients, and it's funny using clients or customers in my profession, because my clients and customers are 2 to 10 years old, or 20 years, well, if occasionally 20 years old, but most of my clients are children, early teenagers, and they get right up to me. And I've been hugged by over 10,000 other people's children, just strange children that walk up and hug me. And it's not, I don't even count the kids that have, where the parents say, go give them a hug. I don't even count those as by way of how many kids have hugged me. I've probably been hugged by 100,000 other people's children in my life, which for me is a sign of intense gratification and success. I may not be successful in the eyes of the world, the Western world, but in my own eyes, I'm quite the success, because all these kids trusted me. One of the things that I'm going to go off on a little tangent here. One of the things I've enjoyed about this lifetime, especially in the last 15 years or 20 years, is now that I have all of this gray and white, I get adopted into people's families for a few minutes. When I work, I sit on a small three-legged stool. I've had times where I've sat on that stool being so busy twisting balloons and talking to people that I'll sit there for hours and hours. And then when I stand up, the stool has actually embedded itself in my skin, and I have to, it'll come up with me before it falls off. So, but for about 5 minutes while I'm dealing with a family group, I'm invited in to the inner circle just for those few minutes. They will talk about some of the most amazing things, because they're talking over the heads of their children, the parents are, because the kids are busy watching me twist my balloons. And so the parents will get into very deep conversations with me sometimes, and they'll share some pretty significant things. And I'm guessing because of the gray and I don't know, my countenance or something, I'm like that crazy uncle that everybody likes. They listen to me, they pay attention. Lots of social feedback, social proof that what I say is valuable to them. I often see people's jaws drop when I give them a thought seed. And if you're interested in thought seeds, earlier on in my YouTube channel, I put some of my thought seeds, like you're perfect, and all your thoughts or all of your memories are false, things like that. Anyway, it's been, so going back to how I deal with the disappointment. So I noticed that my thoughts want to run away from me. This moment right here, talking to this camera, thinking about how can I express myself in a way, express my own independent little personal world. How can I express that to you in such a way that maybe you'll get something out of it, and it'll help you get through your tough times? Because you're going to have them. You've had them. You're going to have them. This is something we all share. It's part of the common world. is I imagine that somebody somewhere has lived a perfectly happy life, but I've not met somebody like that. I have actually met a couple of people who claim to have never experienced any kind of abuse. That shocks me. I have no clue what that's like. Um, anyway, so I notice that my thoughts keep running into the future, going, "Oh my God, how am I going to make? How am I going? You know, I want to go see my grandkids. I want to get my teeth fixed. I want, why, you know." And these thoughts just really want to build on each other. You know, each one just wants to sprout like thousands of little thoughts that are going to follow along. But I know that this moment is the only moment that exists. The next moment will take care of itself. If I take the appropriate step now, the next step will be in the right direction. So, there's nothing I can do about my illness that I'm not already doing. There's nothing that I can do about the festival that I'm not already doing. There's nothing that I can think of to do about my teeth that I'm not already doing. Although I probably will hit you up for, can you donate? A little later. But, hell, I might as well do it now. If you can donate, anything you donate will be paid forward to someone else. Some people will be getting a lot of people will be getting balloons based on your generosity if you choose to donate. But if not, that's perfectly fine. Don't knock yourself out. So the tool that I use to deal with all of this unpleasantness is my breath. I keep coming back to my breath. Just being aware of the inhalation and the exhalation. There's a muscle right here at the bottom of the rib cage at that V right here, right there. I think it's the diaphragm, but I don't know. But there's this muscle. It's only about yay. I can feel it about yay big. I can feel the diaphragm going up and down, but that muscle is very obvious to me. And so, as much as I can, I pay attention to the in and out, up and down of that area of my body, and that keeps me anchored here. So my thoughts keep trying to go twirling off in the wind or whatever, and taking me with it. And but as long as I can stay connected to this spot, connected to my body, connected to the sensations of the body, the sensations of breathing, as long as I can do that, like this feeling right here. The nerves, the hands have a lot of nerves in them. And so just doing this right here draws the attention. It kind of short circuits the mind's habit of running off and carrying me with it. I used to think that, and who knows, maybe it's still true. By staying present in the moment, maybe I'm avoiding something that I need to face. But I have gone the path of following my thoughts off into Never Never Land many times. And, or maybe I should say, following my thoughts into hell many times. And I can't really think of any time when that was beneficial. Almost all of my breakthroughs, all of my realizations have come in moments of silence when I wasn't planning, wasn't figuring it out, but I had planned and figured out and planned and figured out, and I reached a stuck point, and then I got silent, and then there it is. So I decided that I would make this video and share with you a little bit of my process. I'd like to go on further, but I'm trying to keep these things, the length of these videos down. And I know that our attention span, thanks to the world of the internet, has shrunk considerably. And I'm including my own. So I think I'll wrap this up for now. If you have questions, I hope I tied all the strings of all the different things that I was talking about. I hope I tied them all together in a nice little bow. I hope that you can get something from this video that you can use in your own personal world. And if you don't really understand what I mean by personal world, social world, and common world, by the way, there is another world. It's called the spiritual world. I haven't spoken too much about that yet. I intend to start bringing it up in the future, and assuming I'm going to be around for the future to bring it up. And it's actually a very valuable understanding. So, but I wanted to give, I've started where I started so that to give you something that you can use in your own life before you really get into the spiritual stuff. And who knows if it's even spiritual? It could just be maturing. I don't know, as a human. But I'll get into that in future videos. So take what you want, leave the rest. If it's useful for you, hot doggy, let me know, please. I would, down this in the comment section, I love the way I always look down when I say the comment section, as if I could see. Wait, here, this is you're looking at me from the video, and I'm watching you put in the the comments. Like, subscribe, share, and if you'd like to donate, I haven't figured out how to how to add that onto this kind of stuff. If you know how to do that kind of stuff, let me know. If you go to my Facebook page, Yuki Kai, I have a nice smile in the picture there. It's full smiles before I lost these teeth. On there, I have my business card, and my business card has my phone number. And I'm thinking I'm going to put a Venmo QR code or whatever it's called up on there. But you can contact me through Messenger. Just do me a favor and don't just say, "Hi, how are you?" I get so many fake messages that way. I just immediately delete them. Put something personal in it, and so that I can see that it's actually a real person wanting to communicate, and I'll respond. But yeah, there we go. That's it for this one. May your day be absolutely pleasant, and may your life bring you great joy and be beneficial for all other beings. Namaste.